Becky's a great person.
A nice principal.
She's very people-oriented, but she's also very data-driven.
Well, Miss Page is a great principal.
She is a passionate educator.
That's what she encourages and promotes.
Becky is known throughout our district as a great principal.
And that's phenomenal in my opinion.
She's been in several schools as principal, and every school she goes into, she raises the expectations of that school.
I think great leaders are encouragers. And being able to encourage not only her students, but her teachers and staff to accomplish great things is where her success lies.
She has such high expectations for herself, and her staff and faculty and the students and the parents all rise to that expectation.
You know, you walk into her school and immediately you know that things are different in the school. You can just feel it.
I can tell you a lot about her. She's passionate. She is a passionate educator. Where we go into something normally and just go, I'll try, she looks for things. She looks for challenges. You know what she expects of you, and because she expects that of you, her teachers will give it to her.
If you're on her team helping youngsters and you're not moving, then she'll do some shaking. Oh yeah. And the bad part is you don't even know you're being shook. You just don't even know it. You know, she has just a way.
She's caring, she's fun. She walks around the halls a lot checking on us to make sure we're doing our work. Also, on the announcements that we have every morning, she makes it funny, makes us laugh a lot. She gives us things to think about and research for more of the higher grades. And she's just an awesome principal.
I really believe every child can learn. And what I like to see is, you know, when the teachers believe it and we gear the instruction and everything that direction. This is an expectation, but I'm going to help you. You know, what do you need to get there? Do you need staff development? Do we need instructional supplies? But whatever it is, we're going to provide, because we can get there if we all work together. So if we see an area that we're weak in, let's get in some specialists, learn what we need to do to make changes, and then we implement. But the main thing is passion for teachers. Everyone's got to be passionate about we can do it together, and we don't accept less. It's just having energy and passion.
You can go in there anytime and she's missing her lunch, or she's eating her lunch with a child, and she's helping a child that couldn't do a skill, or she's helping a child that didn't do good on a test. I'm serious. It just warms your heart.
My whole family's teachers. My mother was a teacher, my uncle was a superintendent, and my aunt was a teacher. So I've been around a lot of people that were teachers. I think you're just kind of born, you know, it's like a natural thing that I got into it and I thought, oh, this is really fun. And so visited a lot of schools in college, you know, different areas like elementary, junior high, high school, and knew exactly it was going to be elementary. So I student taught and went into teaching. When I did my mid-management for the principalship, my first course was with Dr. Johnson, Erin Johnson, and she was excellent. She had come from a principalship. She gave an overview of the principalship, and it was one of those classes where you listened and you just soaked it in. You just wanted more, give me more. She had passion for what she did, and so it just kind of was contagious.
Mrs. Page is a very amazing principal. Even though she has a lot of work to do, she finds time to make sure her students have whatever they need to be successful. Whenever we do our best, no matter what it is, she eagerly rewards us. I love how she takes pride in being our principal. Literally, I'm satisfied with her and would never want anyone to replace her.
She looks for ways to help children learn. You would think all these years of being an administrator, she'd kind of rest a little bit, but oh no, not Becky. She's always looking for a new initiative. Is that going to help children learn? Okay, fine, we're going to do it.
This award really represents all the people in CISD that have been supportive, all the teachers that have worked so hard with students, and gone the extra mile to make sure that all students are successful, and all the students have put out effort, all the parents who've been so supportive in their child's education. And I want to thank everyone from Sam Houston for honoring me with the award. It is an honor, and it's certainly not one that I earned by myself. This award belongs to many, many people, so thank you so much.
Because Becky's in the Conroe School District, the Conroe School District's a better place to be.
What I can tell you about Darlene is that she's very enthusiastic. She's a very hard worker. She's very dedicated. She believes in her program, and she's made it all work. And I think it's great that Congressman Ted Poe read her accomplishments for this national demonstration campus achievement into the congressional record.
She has made us into a national demonstration school on 2 different occasions, and we are the only one in Texas in the elementary division. Last year it was the body mass index, and it was her project to take the body mass index of every child, and the parents then knew whether or not their children were in danger of obesity. She's also done a lot of staff development for the district. She's helped Teresa Anderson, who is in charge of PE for the elementary schools, work on some of the curriculum. And she's really just been instrumental in our faculty in making all of us more aware of how important making healthy choices really is.
Darlene's and Tessie's is just the ultimate physical education teacher. She's always looking for new ways to inspire the students. She's not a teacher that sits back and says, hey, this is how I've always done it, this is how I'm going to do it. She's talking to them about nutrition. She's talking about how what you eat affects your body, how you do affects your brain. And the more active you are, the better scores you get. You step out into her area, to the gym area.
Welcome to my classroom. You're at Brill Elementary. We have it geared pretty much so we have teaching walls around the room. I think that's kind of unique from what you'll usually see in the gyms. I started our jump rope program back in 2003. It was so successful that I decided that maybe it was time to show the community what we did. The cafeteria was standing room only, about 300 people. After the show, they said that was the most phenomenal thing we've seen, and can our students, or our boys and girls, join the team. Had in mind coaching at first. Little did I know that my passion would lie in the education part and not the coaching part. You're born and you don't have a book, of how to take care of yourself. So basically what we've tried to do here is to teach them what to do with themselves. First thing is safety, social skills, nutrition. We have the CATCH program, the Go Slow and Whoa.
And she had put different posters all over the building every year, just as a reminder of which things are WOW foods, which things are slow foods, which things are GO foods.
And I think what drives her is the children here. She wants them to really step up, be physically active, and carry that on throughout their life.
And she is a really good coach. She has taught me a lot about jump roping because when I was in kindergarten, my sister and her friends talked her into letting the kindergartners in. So she taught me a lot about jump roping and how I first got started. And I have been in the jump rope show every year since. So
she's just really nice and awesome. She's pretty much my favorite PE teacher I've ever had.
First we'll do a warm-up and then we'll go play Foursquare or do a fun activity. It's just really cool to have her as a PE teacher. When I completed my undergraduate work, I didn't think I had complete teaching skills, and I really didn't. So there were quite a few of us that got interested in a career ladder. And we trekked to Sam Houston because that was the best teaching college around that we knew. And we went there to get our master's degrees. I remember Carl Harris. He was the one that taught me how to do research. And I am eternally grateful to him
I had kinesiology teachers also that were just phenomenal. But what was so different is that the classes weren't 300 and 400 as I was used to in undergraduate school. They were small enough that they could actually teach me what I needed to know. And shortly after completing my master's there, I designed a curriculum program at our junior high that won a national demonstration school, and it was the only one south of Dallas at the time, and it was a pretty big deal. And that was directly attributable to what I learned in supervision and curriculum instruction from Sam Houston State.
She's put all this time and effort in, and that she's being rewarded for that.
This is my 20th year to teach. My very first year I started out in Shepherd, Texas, and then I went on to Huntsville, taught in Huntsville for 6 years. Then I had children, stayed home with them for 5 years, and now I've been in New Waverly for 14 years.
She's just the hardest working teacher I've ever seen.
I like to take at-risk students because at one point in time I was at risk. And I had a sophomore English teacher that grabbed a hold of me and wouldn't let me go when I didn't want to hold on.
She has a knack for creating a rapport that's really beautiful to watch.
Many times you can take a very weak writer and you can take that student and expound upon what they know and make them feel good about themselves, and then they begin to write more because they feel better.
And she's a really good teacher.
One of the things that I like to talk about is what my philosophy is. And I love kids, and I love to read and write, and by the time they get out of my class, they may not love to read and write, but I want them to know my passion for that.
She is a tremendous asset to this school, and I hope she stays here another 20 years.
I feel like one of my greatest things to do is to be prepared for my students in the classroom. And I work diligently to be prepared, because if I'm prepared, then they know that I care about them in advance.
My wife is an English teacher and tells me all the time she wants to grow up to be Mrs. Brown.
But one of the things I like to say is kids don't care how much we know. They want to know how much we care. And I want them to know that I care.
If there's anybody that you want to role model yourself after, it's definitely her. She's probably the most phenomenal teacher I've ever met. She treats the kids like they're actually hers. She'll stay till 10 or 11 or 12 if she needs to. She makes them their own memory books if they don't have parents. I've seen her spend hundreds of dollars on a child who was orphaned and literally make everything he needed, pay for his prom, the whole bit.
Not only does she teach us academically, but she teaches us like outside of school about like life, things that you learn in life and morals and things that you're gonna need later on down the line.
There's nothing she won't do for a student, and she just works really hard just to make sure that you're prepared for what you need to do.
She's hardworking, very intelligent, very creative. And if you hear the term master teacher, she puts a whole new twist to it.
I have had lots of hats that I have worn. When I was in Huntsville, they called me to sub a lot, and I was the school nurse. And I have absolutely no nursing experience other than being a mom. Recently, our cheerleading sponsor was out, and our students had a chance to perform at the Houston Rockets Arena. But they had to have a sponsor, so I've stepped in to be a cheerleading sponsor. I was the yearbook sponsor for 3 years, and we won 2 national awards. I have been an English teacher the whole time. I have been a UIL sponsor, the journalism director. I've taken kids to state twice in headline writing. I have been a photographer on the side. I show their pictures in my classroom. I make hard copies of pictures and send it to them at their homes. And then that parent is more in my corner, and we can really help the kids succeed.
All my other English teachers I've had before just didn't ever want to work with me. And then I came here, and Ms. Brown found me. She sat down and worked with me and found a way to make me like it. She just didn't teach it. She found a way to make it fit in with your lifestyle.
A few years ago, I was helping work a Pause America fundraiser, and she couldn't hold her regular practice because all her kids were there. Well, that's where she shows up. And during lunch, they're back there sitting in the back of a pickup truck, eating lunch and doing their UIO practices.
When I was first notified about receiving the award, my first thing to do was to find the people that meant the most to me and go thank them. One of the people I would like to have found was Dr. Tom Murray. He was my very first education professor. I visited with Dr. Brown and discovered that he had passed away. He was very influential. I could not tell you anything he specifically taught me. Not verbs, not nouns, not whatever we're supposed to do in the classroom. But I remember that the most important word he taught us was rapport. And so one of the things that I like to do with students is establish rapport. Sam Houston has always been our home. We have gone to football games, basketball games, baseball games. I learned that when you watch students and then they're in your classroom, they'll watch you. They will respect you in the classroom. And so I'm very excited to receive an award, and I'm grateful that I'm in a small district because they were just as excited that I had won as I was. And so that's a fun thing. It's a neat award. It's humbling. When I sat in teacher conferences earlier this week, I realized every teacher in that classroom deserved the same award I had gotten. We all work hard, we're all dedicated, we're devoted, and it was just a very humbling experience to see that I had been picked.
This campus has had one constant in the last number of years, and that's Miss Falconberry. This is a unique campus because of the bond that the staff feels for one another. All relates back to Mrs. Falconberry.
Kimberly is such a blessing and a joy to have as part of our district. Her service over the years has just been extraordinary and outstanding. She's a resource for so many of our teachers.
The students all respect her and, value whatever she suggests for them to do.
There are students who are not comfortable talking to very many people who will easily begin to relate to Mrs. Falconberry.
I know Miss Falconberry as a friend more than a counselor because when I had attitude problems, she helped me.
I had stuffed animals who lived on my bed, and they all had their own place, and I had a little notebook, a spiral notebook, and they all had their names in there, and they all got graded. And so when I look back on it now, I think, I was always meant to be a teacher. But when I was in high school, I took business classes, and I went to school to be an accountant, and was not at SAM. I was so used to being able to ask questions and have the teacher come stand beside me and say, okay, let's look at what we're doing, what is wrong. And I didn't get that. In talking to several different people, decided that, hey, maybe I should go and be a business teacher. And I transferred to SAM and got my last 2 years, finished up my education classes and got my certification. The principal at the junior high, who happened to be my junior high principal, called me at home and said, I have a job for you. And I said, you don't have a job for me. You're at a junior high. I don't teach junior high. And he said, oh, please, Kimberly, I have the perfect job. It's teaching computer literacy. I started laughing. I said, Mr. Hood, I've only had one computer class. I came and tried it. I taught computers for 8 years and moved from a teaching position into the counselor's position, and have only worked at Navasota Junior High. Have been here for 18 years now.
She's the one on our campus who prints the report cards and progress reports. She sits down when that is done and she writes a note, a personal note to every student on this campus. And sometimes it's, you did a great job, you're bringing your grades up. And sometimes, I know you can do better than this. Let's work on math, or let's work on this or that. And the kids know that it's not something that she's making up. It's accurate to them specifically. And that can't happen unless she knows every child on this campus and the needs of every child on this campus.
When I go through hard times, I know I can talk to her about anything.
because she's always there for me to help me. She'll get you through what you have to get through.
She is very nurturing. It's real easy to tell that she cares about everyone.
My husband jokes a lot about that if he let me be, that I would have half of the children living in my house with me.
Almost daily she'll get a call from another administrator or another coordinator asking for help or advice, and she will not rest until that's done. I see that she's here many mornings before anybody else, and then almost every day she's the last one to leave the building.
I would like to thank Sam Houston State University for this distinguished award. I'd like to thank Jim Russell, the principal of Navasota Junior High, for nominating me. I'd like to say a special thanks to some of my former professors. Dr. Nichter is a very special person to me. I had lots of classes with her when I was working on my counselor certification. She's a very good teacher, but she's more than a teacher, and I think that I learned a lot of what I do from her and the way she taught our classes.
She is in part of the fabric of the community, not just the counselor at school, and we know that things are in great shape when Kim's on the job.
Think of no other organization that embodies the spirit of supporting education and is more deserving as a friend of education than the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
The Houston Livestock Show started in 1932 and really started based on agriculture and helping the Port of Houston become a major agricultural center.
They have, through their entertainment venue, been able to provide millions of dollars in scholarship funds.
We didn't actually give away our first scholarship until 1957, so we didn't start out giving away scholarships, but it's really become what we're known for, and yet we are still at heart an agricultural show, and we'll remain true to those roots, which again is what makes it such a great partnership with Sam Houston.
I believe we've had over 400 students that have gone to the school on our scholarships, and that's roughly about a $3 million value. Currently we have around 34 enrolled, and the estimated value of those scholarships is around $500,000.
There are many students at Sam Houston State in education, in criminal justice, in biology, and other academic fields that receive financial support.
Right now we have about 2,000 students in 90 Texas universities, and with a total education commitment of around $25 million.
When I entered school, I was a horticulture crop science major as an undergraduate with a secondary education minor. With the teacher education background, I know that I'll be able to influence other kids and hopefully push them to participate in Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo and let them see the benefits that organization has for students.
The Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo has a number of different educational programs. The cornerstone is really our scholarship programs, and even among those we have a variety. We have what we call metropolitan scholarships. There's also an opportunity scholarship program. And then we reach out to 60 other counties around the state with our Area Go Texan program. We have our FFA and 4-H scholarship programs and our school arts scholarship program. So we go just over $8 million in scholarships on an annual basis, year after year, to the kids of Texas.
I've been raised by my grandparents since I was 2 years old, and I've pretty much supported myself through school, and without the scholarship I probably wouldn't be able to go through school.
One of the programs we're most proud of, we started about 10 years ago, and that's the Rodeo Institute for Teacher Excellence. And after doing a lot of research, really discovered that teaching kids to read in K through 3 was about the most important way you could get kids prepared and started on the right track. So we now spend $1.5 million every year teaching kids to read and teachers to teach reading, just to get particularly underprivileged kids a chance to hopefully get a good high school education and ultimately compete for one of our scholarships.
I've been involved in 4-H and FFA my entire life. My mother was the 4-H leader in our town, and my dad's an ag teacher, and we always went to the Houston Livestock Show, and it's really been a great place for us to learn. You know, they've offered so many things to kids just like me through the scholarship. It's a really neat thing that they've done, and they just seem to grow and grow and do more things every year.
We're really honored to have received this award tonight. Sam Houston is a university we have a great heritage with. We've had a lot of great scholarship kids come through Sam Houston, so this is a great honor for us.